Hi muckers, welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome back to the final video that's going to be on my channel of 2022. That is so bizarre to say. I can't believe that we are at the end of the year already. January 1st of 2022 feels like only a couple months ago. And I can't believe 2023, I feel like every year that is the next one just sounds like, how did we get here? And anyway, I have my favorite moment of 2022 on the screen here, which was being invited to meet Selena Gomez. And again, that was completely because of each and every one of you that support me. That was the sole reason I got invited, and I thank you so much for that. I'm really interested for today's video though. We're gonna get right into it because this is gonna be a long one because I want to get to everything in this. So, Colleen Ballinger and Trisha Paytas have just united to the max to do one big content farm mommy little conversation. So I saw that the Dad Challenge podcast had made a video on this and I started watching it and then I had to stop myself. I think I made it like 5 minutes into it or something like that. No shade, nothing at all. It was just that I knew that I was gonna eventually make my own one on this and I didn't want to watch someone else's video talking about their opinions on this because I knew that mine were gonna be so strong anyway. So shout out, this video has basically already been made in its entirety. But as you can imagine, Colleen Ballinger and Trisha Paytas coming together is like, it's like my form of a nightmare. It's like, you know, like your dream blunt rotation? Well, this is my nightmare blunt rotation. Colleen Ballinger and Trisha Paytas. Woo! So before we get into their video, I do want to make reference to the fact that Colleen Ballinger fans are actually really angry at her for making this video. Now, I didn't want to start off this video with being like, my opinion, because I want it to be known that Colleen Ballinger's own fan base on Twitter, so like the feral ones, are even calling her out for making this video, that they're really disappointed. I'm not going to speak for them, I'm going to let it read for themselves. So, I got like 6 screenshots here, but there were a lot on Twitter. So, we have a tweet from Soph, at Colleen's Baddie, said, "So like, I'm glad Trisha has changed, and I really wish them well, but when are they going to apologize for all the harm that they've done to multiple communities? Because as a Mexican woman, the shit that they have said about Mexicans alone still hurts a lot." Tay responds and says, "She hasn't changed at all. Ever since her baby was born, she's constantly putting the baby in dangerous situations, posting videos of the baby unbuckled in a car moving, a stroller, you know, the seat at home, not supporting the baby's head, and putting the baby in a bouncer before she was old enough, all that, and filming every step of the way." So then we go on and we have one from Lacey, who I'm pretty sure, shout out Lacey, I'm pretty sure that whenever I was in the Colleen Ballinger fandom, like the standom on Twitter, I'm pretty sure me and Lacey were friends. It's good to see that you're still on there, Lacey. I'm sorry, but this fandom is so toxic. You don't always have to defend your favorite. Sometimes they fuck up and need to be called out, and invalidating people's feelings because your fave can do no wrong about Colleen collaborating with Trisha is so disgusting. Then we go on, Lacey continues to say, "Trisha needs to apologize for her recent racist comments and other choices, period. She's hurt a lot of people and some I really care about. Let's continue to stop making excuses for her. Like, let's call her out on this." And then we have Adora May said, "It's nauseating how many people are excusing the cruelty just because Colleen is choosing to associate with her." So then we go on and more people are saying, "I've been saying this ever since Colleen made her first video with Trisha." We have Ella said, "I completely agree. I love Colleen, but I am totally underwhelmed." We have Adora May continues to go on and say, "I obviously don't hate Colleen, y'all, so you can stop with that dumbass narrative. But we are allowed to be hurt by Colleen's actions. Colleen continues to call herself an ally, but publicly still associates with Trisha, who, by the way, has not changed and has made several racist comments this year alone. People have been hurt by Trisha's past and present self, and all she does is chalk it up to be trolling," which is actually a really good point. "Telling someone their entire race is a bunch of freeloaders and should go back to their country isn't trolling. It's hard racism. It's disappointing that Colleen continues to associate with Trisha." So we have a lot of opinions being like, "Hasn't Trisha claimed to change multiple times? I'm so bothered by Colleen doing this." And there we go. So I wanted to read that out because I know a lot of people continuously like hail Colleen Ballinger as like the Queen of Angels, and they say that it's just like fucking haters that speak up. But I wanted to include this because her own fan base is like pissed off at this. But basically, we have this video, Our Crazy Birth Stories, mukbang with Trisha Paytas. Now, whenever this first came out, I actually kind of skimmed watching it by 2x speed. So this is gonna be my first time really getting into it, but I kind of freely watched it thinking that, would I film a video on this, would I not? And I do remember that there are many things I do want to talk about. They talk about frenemies, they talk about, not to jump ahead, but they talk in this video entirely about their career basically being about like their babies. It's so crazy. They're like comparing stories about like what other mommy vloggers are doing on YouTube, like how they could have filmed their birth better and all these different things. And I think this video was such a bad decision from both of them because it's by a channel that has 9 million subscribers. I mean, listen, this is like you're getting millions and millions of subscribers. This video, controversy and all, is pulling like 700k views, which is a lot of views and really great. But whenever you have 9 million subscribers, it goes to show that it wasn't really worth the controversy because you pissed off your fans, and people who are watching this video are calling both of you out. But most people are calling Colleen out instead of Trisha for two main reasons. So Colleen speaks a lot about basically the business behind what they're doing. They talk about, you know, how other people were, you know, vlogging their kids, whatever like that, and she makes fun of them by being like little mommy vloggers online whenever she is directly one. Also, Colleen, basically this entire video is supposed to be Trisha Paytas' crazy birth. Like, Trisha Paytas' birth story, because they filmed one of these when Colleen had a baby, and it was called Colleen's Birth Story with Trisha Paytas, where Trisha asked Colleen questions about the birth. Now this one, the opening says, this is going to be about Trisha's birth, I want to ask you questions, Colleen says. But it basically just shows how much of a narcissist Colleen is, which we already know, because she basically just talks about her birth, the entire thing, so much so that this video, which is about Trisha Paytas' birth stories, has now been titled Our Crazy Birth Stories, because Colleen can't not talk about herself, like, whenever someone else is in the room, like, it has to all. And also, Colleen is so condescending to Trisha Paytas in this video, who Trisha had a C-section, Colleen also had a C-section, but Colleen, in a couple parts, talks about how women who give birth naturally are, like, gods, and Trisha's like, oh, well, you know, I wanted to give birth, you know, naturally, but I had to get a C-section. Colleen was like, I'm not talking down to you at all, but whenever I did it naturally, I felt like a god. And I felt bad for Trisha in this video, and I never feel bad for Trisha. Anyway, we're gonna get into this. So, a lot of the Colleen fans always say that we take things out of context, so I thought, what better way than to just watch the entire thing and comment on it. Now, if I put it on any more than 1.25x speed, we will not understand either of them, so we're gonna do it like this. And buckle up for this video. We're watching it. It's on Colleen Ballinger's YouTube channel, Our Crazy Birth Stories, mukbang with Trisha Paytas. Fair use commentary purposes, don't try me.
Okay guys, the day is here. Trisha Paytas, the queen herself, is in my house and we're doing another mukbang.
McDonald's mukbang.
I am so excited. Okay, so you guys have been asking for this. I've been wanting this. I hope Trisha's been wanting this. She's here now.
But you're so busy. You have twins. You have
You're so busy too, and your mom. So, okay, last time we did a big one.
No, she's not busy. She just chooses to ignore you. Because her and Corey talk shit about you all the time.
Like a big mukbang.
Yeah.
Like,
Sorry, I'm not going to talk about previous experiences, but all I'm saying is that her and Corey made fun of Trisha Paytas a lot when we were talking. So this was years ago, so I'm just saying, Trisha, if they don't want to meet up with you, I'm sure it's not because they're busy, but I'm sure it's just because they fucking hate you.
Bang. I always
Anyways, allegedly, all alleged.
Sorry, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I just don't know which one it is. I always forget when people correct me. So anyway, the last time we did one, we talked about my birth story, and you were asking me a million questions about it. But now you had a baby.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
And so now I can interview you.
I know.
So this video is talking about Trisha's birth story. Remember that. Because you're gonna forget it very
I
soon.
have so many questions for you too. Everything I ever talk about, people are like, ask Colleen. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, because you are like the mom of YouTube. I feel like
I don't know about that, but like,
The mom of YouTube. Hear that? For the people that deny that Colleen Ballinger is literally her entire career now is just being a mommy vlogger. There we have Trisha Paytas doing a little shady comment saying you are like the mother of YouTube because that's all you do now.
anything. I don't know anything, so everyone's like, ask Colleen, ask Colleen.
that's the secret about being a mom is you know nothing.
Right.
That's it. Like I think like moms just you know nothing and you have to figure it
I'm
out.
glad you say that because so many people come for me. I'm like, she knows nothing about being a mom. I'm like, yeah, I know.
That's what being a mom is. Like you know nothing. Even if you think you know
Yeah.
everything, like you know nothing.
Yeah.
Like something throws a curveball at you and you're like, oh my god. Like so anyway.
Yeah.
Trisha, I was like, she was like, I'll pick up food. And I was like, okay.
That's a lot of
She did.
food.
He did pick up food.
Your house is hot too. It was so busy.
Oh
Like,
my
so
god.
everything.
I was like,
Also, most of this food goes untouched because, I mean, it's hard to talk and eat at the same time. That's, like, mukbangs are inherently, like, it's wasteful, but, like, it just is like, watch how much food they bring out, and then watch how much food, like, individually each of them eats. It's interesting just to know how much is going to waste. Because McDonald's does not keep.
Sure you were.
Oh, this is like my thing. I like love making for box. Yeah.
They were like, Trisha, not the box.
It's literally just me because Moses was mailed in the car. And so I was like, I was trying to get all these bags. Like, do you want to see the box? Like, yeah. Okay.
Okay, I want to know everything. I'm so excited.
Do you edit, right?
I probably won't edit it this month.
No, you don't. I mean, you don't have
that's
to.
the joy of these is that, like, it feels like you're just sitting and hanging out and, like,
No,
together.
for sure. I got nervous. I really haven't seen anybody in so long. So I like forget to socialize. Like I stutter now. I have a stutter. It's really weird. I'm very awkward. Even more awkward than it needs to be. So.
That's how I feel too. I feel like I have a really hard time with eye contact. I'm like, are you staring at their eyeballs? Like,
Yeah.
I forgot how to be.
No, I'm the same way. I'm the same way. But for now, we have a baby. When I had her, I was like, she needs friends. So I was like, we need to have like baby friends and go see babies because I don't want her to feel like she doesn't have anyone. You know, just because I'm antisocial. So now I'm like really trying to like make up for. We've been going to parties, like 1-year-old birthday parties all year. It's been fun.
Well, the twins will be here soon. Malibu's here.
Malibu's over there.
She's so freaking cute. I cannot even stand it. They're matching, of course.
Yeah.
I always make my twins match. You always match Malibu.
If I had twins, I'd be matching all them too. I'd be so excited.
I know.
They're cute.
so
You match them really well.
all the time.
I love it.
I'm so excited to hear your whole birth story. Even though I've already watched her birth videos twice, so I don't even know the whole story. But
Okay, so we're getting
I
into
watched Trisha saying, like,
Trisha's birth story now. Okay.
You're terrified me to give birth.
well, I didn't mean to do that. I feel so bad because like
It is scary.
it's scary, but it also like looking back on my birth with Flynn. I'm like, that was great. Like, I
Really?
Yeah, I look back and I'm like, what a magical day.
Aw.
But like in the moment, obviously, it was painful.
Yeah, the vaginal, I'm gonna say, like, I never had vaginal birth, but as a someone who had a C-section, I'm like kind of relieved that it was a C-section because I don't know, it was hard to recover with stitches there. I couldn't imagine, when you were talking to me about all your stitches and how they ripped it, and I was just like, I couldn't do it.
Well, my stitches situation down below with my vaginal birth it was like one of the worst case scenarios. Like, it was really bad.
Is that what they told you?
Yeah, most people, it's not that bad.
Okay, so we're starting off talking about Colleen's birth. Okay.
But I will say, between vaginal and C-section, in my personal experience, everybody's different. Every single experience is so different. I prefer vaginal times a million.
Wait, really?
Oh, times a million.
Why?
C-section was so much worse for me.
What part?
Okay, well, I can talk about this for hours, but we're here to talk about you, so I'll try to do it
Me too.
quickly.
I feel like a 10-part series.
I'm glad at least she's acknowledging where the video was, you know, starting off at least, that it was talking about Trisha. But of course, she can't help herself.
Vaginal, the recovery was longer. It was very painful. The recovery was longer. C-section, the recovery was more painful, but it was shorter.
Right, right. Mm-hmm.
So, like, the incision pain, like, I don't know if you had this, but, like, I would wake up in the middle of the night, like, because I would move a little bit or something, and I would scream. Like, the
Yes.
pain was agonizing.
Yeah.
Like, it was so bad. Like, your internal, like, all your insides are trying to heal, and it is, like, it was so painful.
So awful.
I didn't think it was going to be that painful.
Yeah.
So,
Did you take pain meds?
yeah, I did.
I like didn't want to take them because I didn't want to be like, because I was like addicted.
Go on, get in there, Trisha! Go on, get in there! Say something about your birth! Go on, good girl!
I'm not gonna take them.
My goodness. It's like... Of course this video is now titled Our Crazy Birth Stories. It just, it goes on. It goes on.
I don't want to get addicted to them because like when I was in the hospital, I was so out of it those first few days. I like didn't even know where my daughter was. I was like, I'm not gonna take the medication when I get home. And it was like I couldn't even stand up. Like I was just like
That's all right.
I didn't know where my daughter was when she was born.
I survived.
Yeah, it was-
I believe that. What did you didn't take Advil or anything?
No, I literally just I just suffered and cried. Well, I thought it was gonna be a piece of cake. You know, I was actually at a BBL, I had breast implants. I'm like, this is gonna be like no, but honestly, no, I just was like suffering, and I was like, this is what it is. I was more scared to get addicted to like pills and like drop her or something, you know, because in the hospital, I like didn't even know where she was. Like I was just like, I don't know what's happening. Like it was all a
You
blur.
like that epidural?
Yeah, they gave me like I think fentanyl after the C-section. Did you get more? Like they gave me
I don't know.
more.
I don't know.
Fentanyl? They gave you fentanyl?
What they gave me?
Yeah.
But it made me, Eric says I looked super insane after, okay, so my C-section, I hated my C-section experience. I hated it.
Really?
And I know some people love it. Like, I remember, I'll never forget.
You're speaking to someone who had one! Ask her about it!
Like, I was doing Ariana's Thank You Next music video, and I was pregnant with Flynn. And her mom, I was telling her, like, about how horrible my pregnancy was, whatever, and her mom goes, cut it out. Like, when I was thinking about having the baby and, like, in the birth, she's like, you doing vaginal or C-section? I was like, I want to try for vaginal. And she was like, cut it out.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
some people like that. Like, some people, like, want to, like, you know.
Yeah, that's what our doctor too. Like some people want that. They said they don't want to like I don't know if it ruins down there. He's like, you know, for vanity reasons,
Well,
they just don't want
it did
that.
for me.
Did it?
Yeah.
So it goes back. Really?
Well, it goes back. But, like, if you got shreds, you got
Wait,
shreds.
shred the flesh? Wait, really?
My doctor did a really bad job sewing it up.
Oh, really? Oh, man. That's the worst. That'd be awful.
So I'm gonna get it fixed.
Oh.
I have to get it fixed.
Are you gonna have more kids or are you done?
Done.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Wait for the views to drop down, then pregnancy announcement.
Because I always feel like I'll give myself until I'm 40.
Just like the
and then I'll
family-in-law.
Or like get myself fixed, you know, I'll get like tummy tuck and all that stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you might get pregnant again and then you're like, oh man, I should have just waited.
That's not the plan. We wanted 2 kids.
Right.
And then we got a bonus.
I love that. That's what I'm hoping. Like, I always think we want 3 kids and I'm hoping on the 3rd it'll be like triplets. Because I want like a lot.
Well,
But Trisha, if you have 3 at one time, how can you spread out the exposure for the exploitation for the clicks? Think about it, Trisha. If you have 3 at one time versus 3 over a period of time, that's 3 different boosts of your career again. Come on, Trisha. Think about it tactically. Come on.
It's a good thing I hate pregnancy. I'll say that.
You hated your second one too?
Oh, it was worse.
Oh, it didn't feel as bad when I watched it for you. Like, it seemed like you were enjoying
it. It wasn't
something.
as bad only because my doctor was better. So my doctor listened to me and helped me and gave me tools to help how painful and awful it was.
Yeah.
But your pregnancy was great.
Mine was so easy, yeah.
I'm so
Ask her about it. Ask her about
If
it.
my pregnancies were great, I'm sure I'd do it more often.
Yeah, like I miss being pregnant. Like, I'm sad about it. When she came out, I was like, damn, I'm so sad.
Aww.
Yeah, and I'm still sad about it. Like, I took a pregnancy test and I was not pregnant. I was like, damn, I was really thought I was gonna be pregnant again. It was fun. No, the labor and delivery was awful. Like, that was horrible.
Like, I feel like I've heard from a lot of people that it's flipped. Like, you either have a great pregnancy and a terrible birth, or a terrible pregnancy and a great birth. Now, my first pregnancy was like that. Like, my pregnancy was so bad, and then I gave birth to Flynn, and the birth experience was like as good I think as it could have been.
Right.
Like, it was quick, my water broke, it's possible, contractions are painful, got the epidural.
I cannot believe that we're 10 minutes into this and we have not heard a single thing about Trisha Paytas' birth, by the way. You would think that out of these 2 women, that it was this one who had the baby, like, a month or so ago. How old is Malaby Barbie? I don't know. A month or so ago.
And then I pushed him out, and I think the reason
Poor Trish, she's, like, at least Trish is getting to eat the food. She ain't talking, so.
I love it so much is because, yes, it's painful to give birth, but the feeling and experience of, like, I'm not saying this to, like, because I'm gonna have a C-section.
Here we go. Here we go. Y'all ready?
And I'm sad about it.
But, like, birthing your child
So there we go. Trisha says that she's sad about it, and Colleen will continue to make her point.
out of your vagina, out of your body, and doing the work and pushing him out, and then him going on my chest, like, I felt like a god.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's a weird thing to say, but, like, I felt like a warrior. Like,
Okay, here's the thing. There is nothing wrong with saying that you feel like a god for having a baby, growing a baby. It's incredible what women can do. It's like, it's almost hard to fathom, and I think that every single birth and every single pregnancy is so special and so incredible. The problem with this statement is that this is such a weird thing to say to someone who just gave birth, C-section, who wanted to give, literally said wanted to give birth the way you just described it. Oh, it was only that birth that you felt like a god, not the C-section. So much so that you've literally been like, no offense, at the start of the statement when you're saying it to Trisha. That's so, it's like a weirdly catty thing to say, and I wonder if people are picking up on that. It really, really, really is. There's nothing wrong with saying that that's how you feel after you give birth, because I can't even imagine that feeling. But the way that this was set up, the fact you literally had to be like, no offense before it, you were saying it in a catty way that Trisha never got to experience that, but you did. Because you had a birth C-section, but you didn't feel like a god when you had a C-section, so how can Trisha feel like a god if all she's had is a C-section? It's like so vindictive and catty.
it was crazy. I felt like...
What's Trish supposed to say?
You are honest, and you are a warrior too. Like, I had a C-section, you had a C-section. Like, any woman who grows a human being, like, or person who grows a human being.
There we go.
Like,
drop back, Colleen.
Like, that's amazing. But I'm just explaining like how I felt personally. And some people have the vaginal birth, and, like, that's the worst thing in the world. I only want C-section.
Right.
But for me, like, my vaginal birth was like, it really was. I felt powerful. After I gave birth.
Because I watched so many birth vlogs prior to me, because I thought I wanted a C-section, because I was just like, it sounds very painful to go through that way, like, I'd rather do a C-section. But the more birth vlogs I watched, of, like you said, the moment where the baby comes down, like, on their chest, and they're just, like, crying in the baby, and I just, like, wanted that so bad. I pushed for 3 hours, like, really wanting it.
So that's what was wrong with Colleen saying that, because Trisha said before and after Colleen made that statement that that's all she wanted. And it's like a mean thing to say.
And they told me I had to do a C-section, I was like devastated, because I was like, and it wasn't even for me, it wasn't like, oh, like I won't feel like I did good birth, it was, I just really wanted that moment where they like fly out and they're on your chest, so I'm like so sad about that. I was like really, really upset. But my C-section was like 10 minutes and she was like delivered. My pushing was like 3.5 hours, my labor was like for 14 hours, so I was like, I'd rather just schedule it and like go, I don't know how it works the second C-section, but I wonder if I just like schedule it, if I just go in and like take it out, like that's it. Or do I have to have my water break the contraction?
No, you can schedule.
Can we talk about how each time they both talk about their children, they refer to the baby as it? When they take it out. When I had it.
And you can go in and
But they like induce you, right?
I'm not sure because I haven't done it, so I'm not going to speak. But I know that you can like
just schedule
Rosanna Pansino's sister.
Yeah.
She had a C-section with her first son, and then her second son, she just scheduled it. And like,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know the whole birth story for the second one, but like, I've had friends who've had a C-section and they just scheduled the second one. Just went in. It was a day at a time. They go in.
No C-sections. I wonder that. But you said I could get a vaginal.
Sorry, what?
Get a vaginal after C-section?
You can, yeah. You can have a vaginal after C-section. I don't know how. I think it's like.
Don't worry, Trish. You can be a god one day by Colleen Ballinger standards. Just keep pushing for that push birth.
I don't know. Every doctor will say something different, but yes, after a C-section, you can have vaginal.
I saw Tammy Hembro. Do you know her? She's like a fitness. She's based out of Australia. She's like a fitness mom, and she just had what they call a VSAC vaginal something after C-section. But the adjuster was like so painful, and I got like scared about it because it like could rupture. Right? I don't know what's true. So many people like leave comments and tell me like your uterus will rupture if you get it vaginally. And I'm like, I'm scared.
That's what's scary about it. Is all of it's true. Like anything could happen. That's why it's scary. So like. And when I talk about, I'm not saying any of this to scare anyone. I think everyone's experience is so different. Like my pregnancy stories, I think would scare anyone.
Which is all we've heard about this video, by the way, about Trisha Paytas' birth story. Haven't heard a single thing from Trish yet.
It was so terrifying.
But your pregnancy was wonderful.
Yeah.
Let's get to it.
So that just goes to show, like, every single woman and person who gets pregnant, their experience is so freaking different.
Yeah, and pregnancy. Some people are like, oh, my first was amazing, second one was horrible. So I'm always like, I don't know if my second one will be good if I get pregnant again, but yeah.
I think it'll probably be mine were similar. The twin one was worse because it was twins.
Oh my god.
But mine were both terrible. Like, they were horrible, horrible experiences. And then my birth with Flynn, I think because...
This video was started as I have so much to ask Trisha Paytas about her birth. We have not gotten to any of that yet. This is like, just like narcissistic traits that like you're not interested at all in any other people.
I assumed I was going to have a C-section.
Anyway, we'll let her talk.
Like, I'm definitely, because he was so big, my mom only had C-sections. So I was like, I'm definitely gonna have
Trisha's been sitting, like, just eating this entire time.
a C-section. So once they said, like, oh, you're 10 centimeters, you're gonna start pushing, I was like, what? Like, I was like, you're not gonna take me to get a C-section? Like, I thought for sure there was gonna be some complication and I would have to.
Trisha's like a signboard. Oh, really? Yes. Oh, me too. Not me.
Yeah.
I assumed it would just be horrible. So I think that when it was just, like, very routine vaginal birth, like, I pushed for 20
Look at the difference in how much of their soda they have left, because Trisha's being able to just drink at hers while Colleen yaps on.
minutes.
You first one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
I pushed for 20 minutes.
Oh my god, you're lucky.
And then he came out and I was like, oh my god, he's on my chest. It was so crazy.
Oh, back to the story that you never got,
It was
Trish.
so hard. I ripped everything to shreds. So,
It was worth it for the 20 minutes.
I know, it was worth it. It was totally great. But then my C-section birth was traumatizing. It was a very much an emergency. Like anyway, I want to talk about yours. But
what month was it? You were like 6 months, right?
Do you want to talk about hers?
32 weeks. I just turned 32 weeks
Oh my
pregnant.
God.
So 38, 40 weeks is a full pregnancy, but
Whoa.
32 terms. So yeah, so they were in the NICU for 6 weeks after.
Yeah, I remember when that happened.
And but yeah, so but that was scary because my water broke and it was so early. I was like, this is crazy, and I went in just naively thinking everything would be fine.
I wonder if we're ever going to talk about Trisha's birth.
And they went in and they checked. They're like, we're gonna keep you admitted.
For context, they've already made this video talking about Colleen's birth, which is why I'm like harping on so much about this. Like, they've already made this video where Trisha was asking Colleen all the questions and Colleen was answering. So this is meant to be Trisha's version of that, but it's now just turned into Colleen's part 2.
For as long as we can, because we need to keep the babies in your body, because that's the safest place for them.
Yeah.
And then they checked, and my cord was coming. The umbilical cord of Wesley was coming out, and that's dangerous because every time you have a contraction, it can clamp it, and like then. Worst case scenario would happen. God. So they're like, we have to get them out now. And I mean, I'm 10 minutes, like 15 minutes, those babies were out of me. Like, it was so fast. They rushed me. They threw scrubs at Eric and rushed me out of the room.
That looks amazing that they are so quick with it.
Yeah. So it was weird watching your birth vlog where it was like
Did you watch it? Did you watch it or did you watch yours twice? Like.
It's like putting on the scrubs and whatever. And
Yeah.
I was like, that was not my experience at all. It was like they rushed me out there, and I was like, oh, that's so fun that you guys kind of.
Yeah.
But it's scary to
Just
go.
chilling.
But it's like weird when you go in the room and you're all alone, huh? Like to get the C-section.
You know, I was out of mine. I was so out of it because like when I was in so much pain for that during once that girl came, I was just out of it. I like really don't remember like anything really. Like I just remember it was like all a dream. So I don't know. Like I couldn't remember all of that. I was so out of it. But I'm glad I was because I would have been scared. But he went in with you because he had to wait. He had to wait like 15 minutes.
Waited. So he was alone. So they threw scrubs at him, and he was there like, we'll come back to you later. They rushed me in there. They gave me. I didn't have.
Trisha started to talk about the experience in the birthing room, but now we're back to Colleen again.
Epidural at that point because I wasn't in really hardcore labor. My water had broken. But so they had to give me the medicine to like for the C-section, which is something different. And
Yeah, I give you extra.
And I hated that, whatever it was.
Did you? You didn't have a reaction.
I felt like I was dying. Like I felt like I was choking to death. Because I got numb all the way up to my throat.
Oh, so
I felt like I couldn't feel my lungs, I couldn't feel my throat, so I felt like I was choking and dying. It was very scary. But I want, for anyone who is not seen your birth story videos, explain what happened, your labor, and it's like,
oh my gosh, mine I just felt was so different.
My goodness, I feel like we're getting a treat. Finally talking about Trisha. 16 minutes into the video. Keep in mind this video has cuts, so it's probably 30 minutes of hearing about Colleen's. But don't worry, y'all. Don't worry. We're finally getting to Trisha's.
Maybe I just didn't watch enough of birth vlogs. I watched so many prior and I wasn't scared anymore. But mine was so weird. Like my water flow and my contractions just were started back to back right away. And so I never heard that. I guess some people said it is, but I didn't even know they were contractions. We're just laying around because I'm in so much pain.
You know, it's period cramps.
Yeah, I really did. And my doctor's go in. So we went in. We were in a really small hospital. We went in. I didn't get an epidural. I mean, they were all very sweet, but it did take 3 hours to check me in. So I didn't get an epidural.
That's crazy.
I know. It was literally, I was screaming. I was that person. Moses didn't start filming until after, right before I got the epidural.
I'm pausing you.
Go ahead, yeah.
My kids just got here.
Poor Trisha! She finally fucking talks and Colleen goes, I'm pausing you. You know what? I don't feel bad because it's Trisha Paytas, but damn, that's funny. It's unironically funny. Finally, Trisha starts to. Can we please get a moment of that again? This is the most replayed part as well. Oh my god, the most replayed part. I thought it was gonna be because. No, the most replayed part is because the kids are coming now. And now we are gonna be skipping past the kids section. This goes to show you that these people would be nothing without their children and nobody watches them for them. Most replayed part is the second the kids come into frame and it drops the second they leave. That's why these people do this. But anyway, let's watch her interrupt Trisha again.
So I didn't get an epidural.
That's crazy.
I know. It was literally, I was screaming. I was that person. Moses didn't start filming until after, right before I got the epidural.
I'm pausing you.
Go ahead, yeah.
My kids just got here.
Yeah.
Rough, Trish. Now, we are skipping, because we do not need the babies on this channel. Alright, we're back.
I know. Okay, so wait, tell me more. So your water broke.
Tell her more.
It broke.
But you may be interrupted again. So you have one or two options. You dare speak again, or you just let Colleen talk again, without being interrupted. What pill are you going to take?
Then, mine broke on the toilet.
Yeah, mine did too.
Oh, really?
Well, yes.
You peed and then more came out.
It was really weird. Yeah, so when you said that, you're like, it never happens when it's on the toilet. I was like, oh my god, that happened to me.
Yeah.
And then I always heard you're...
Trisha just cannot say, a single, flowing sentence.
You're gonna think your water broke, but it didn't.
No, mine definitely did. It was that came out. Yeah.
So it happened, and I was like, did it happen? And then I read online, it's sit down, lay down, and see if...
Keep in mind, Trisha attempted to talk about her water breaking. Here are we back to talking about... This video is very enjoyable to watch.
If it happens again, or if you just peed yourself. I was like, felt like that was definitely a gush.
No, it was a gush, yeah.
But I got back into bed anyway, and I was like, we'll see. And literally it just happened again.
Did y'all see that, by the way? Trisha goes to talk about it, and Colleen, goes on again.
If it happens again, or if you just peed yourself. I was like, felt like that was definitely a gush.
No, it was a gush, yeah.
But I got back into bed anyway, and I was like, we'll see. And literally it just happened again in the bed. I was like, okay, I need to go to the hospital.
Yeah, no, same, because I didn't know either. Because I did pee myself before when I was pregnant. The last week I was peeing myself.
Yeah,
So I was I knew it wasn't pee. But then we went back in, and then I just had contractions right away. They were just really intense. And also just it feels like you go to the bathroom. I kept telling the nurse, I have to go to the bathroom. She's like, no, you can't go to the bathroom. I was like, oh, but that's what I felt like. And they were just so intense. I was screaming. The minute we walked in, I was screaming. On the way there, I was screaming. It was really painful.
They made you check in for 3 hours. That was crazy.
The actual check-in was 20 minutes. Then once we got in there, they took an hour for the nurse to know all my information. They took an hour for a request for an epidural. So they even gave me something before the epidural because it was going to take 4 hours to get an epidural. So they gave me something, but it didn't really help. And like I said, Moses didn't start filming until that thing before the epidural they gave me because he didn't know if he should. I was screaming. I wish he would have, honestly. I should have told him beforehand.
This is the longest Trisha's talked this entire 20 minutes. Good for you, Trish. Get your words in there.
He's just I thought you were literally dying.
The contractions are so painful.
Way more painful than I thought. Again, I thought people over-exaggerated, right? Because I was like, oh, pregnancy was so easy, people are over-exaggerated. But then when I had the contractions, I was like, oh my god, literally, I couldn't stand it. I could not stand that. It was so hard.
See, now, where were your contractions? Because some people feel them just in their uterus, some people feel them I had hip contractions.
Oh, really? I had my butt, yeah, my butt, yeah, wherever that was. It felt like it literally felt like she was was like on my butt.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the thing I didn't know either.
We went from calling Malibu Barbie it to she now.
And then I remember I said that they were like in her abdomen, but mine were so low.
Yeah, mine were
like
low
period
too.
cramps.
Yeah, mine were low period cramps, and my hips. I felt like my hips were gonna snap off. Like my hips.
Yes.
So when my contractions came, I was in bed. I was like, I had this to try to like.
Yeah, and like, I didn't walk. Like the last 2 days before I gave birth, I like could not walk on it. Like it hurt. So it kind of felt like you're saying, kind of like.
Can we talk about how they've just stopped eating the food and there is like 10 nuggets, 10 nuggets, 10 nuggets, 20 nuggets, 10 nuggets, Big Mac, 10 nuggets, like 3 cheeseburgers, and a bunch of burgers to the side as well. I hate mukbang culture so much on YouTube.
Like they were breaking or spreading.
It's so wasteful.
It was really odd. I was just like, So, yeah, but then everything happened so quickly. Like I was 10 centimeters dilated within like 3 hours.
After the epidural.
After the epidural. Is that what usually happens? I don't know.
I think it's different for everyone.
Yeah.
I think some people, they say it, like it slows down labor is what some people say about epidurals, but for me it sped it up.
Yeah.
So when I got to the hospital, I was only 2 centimeters and I was like, the contractions were painful. But then they gave me Pitocin.
Trisha was just starting her story.
And that's what they do for inducing people too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So I got to the hospital and I was only like 2 centimeters, and they wanted me to progress faster because like after being there for an hour, nothing happened except just.
What about Trisha?
Contraction, so they gave me Pitocin to speed it up. And when they gave me Pitocin, the nurse was like, "Do you want your epidural?" And I was like, "No, I think I can handle the pain so far. Like I'm okay." She's like, "I'm about to give you Pitocin. If you want an epidural, you should get it
that's
now."
painful?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Because it forces contractions. So like your most painful contractions, it forces those, and oh my god, they're so painful. So I was like, I'm able to handle it.
Yeah.
And then they gave me the Pitocin, and I was like, give me the drugs, like I was dying. And so they gave me the epidural after the Pitocin, and after I got that, so I was 4 centimeters when I got the epidural.
I can't believe we were so close to hearing about Trisha's story. So close. So close.
And then, I feel like it happened really fast. I didn't feel like I was taking naps.
Right, me too. I fell asleep too. Once I had the epidural.
Come on, Trisha, get in there.
I feel so you can feel it. I was in so much pain. I wanted to do
I was like, the epidural hurts so bad. They put this spine. And it's like this huge needle. It goes in your spine, and it feels like someone slugged you in the back. And I'm like, I felt nothing. I was screaming for contractions. They were like, don't move. And I was like, I'm having a contraction. And they're like, don't move. And I was like, okay. And then they're like, it's in. I was like, what?
I know, it was so fast for me too.
Waiting.
They had Mose go to the front, so I asked him if he saw it. He goes, no, they told me to move around so I didn't see it or something like that. Because I was like, I didn't even feel anything. I was in so much pain, like anything felt fine to me. And it felt so good. As soon as I got I was like, okay, I'm fine, like whatever. And when I was pushing, like I literally, I guess that's probably why I couldn't give birth out. I couldn't feel anything. Like, it's even working. Like,
no, it has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with that. Like, just Malibu didn't want to come out that way. Like, she was like, no, she's like, I'm twisted the wrong way. I'm not coming out. You guys come out. I like it in here. It's cozy.
I was so relieved. So after pushing for like 3 hours, we had some different nurses coming in like all the time. It was like 3 different nurses coming in. At one point there was no nurses. There was just Mose. He's like, they told us like, just like, keep pushing with her. So he was counting. He was holding my feet.
I know that. When I was watching the birth vlog, I was like, is Moses counting?
Yes, he was holding my feet for literally 20 minutes. There was like not a nurse in there. It was really like super casual. I was like, I guess whatever. No one's caring that much. Like, what if the thing comes out? Like, as they're not there.
See, I had the opposite experience where they were like, you're ready to push. And I was like, well, what? And so I pushed, and I like pushed a couple times, and then they were like, my doctor goes, okay, are you ready to have your baby in the next push? And I was like, what? But I could feel him coming out.
Really?
Yeah, I couldn't feel anything, but I could feel like it felt like I had to poop, and it felt like you're pushing to poop. It's kind of how it feels.
Yeah.
So I couldn't feel any pain, but I could feel him coming out of my vagina.
Like pressure.
Yeah, and I could feel him drop down.
Really?
Yeah, like they're in my birth video. You hear me go like, oh my god, I can feel him moving down. I can feel he's going down my vagina. I can feel it. This is so weird. Literally, I felt him go like, and like start to move down. But
that's so cool.
I'll tell you, ladies, I'm not a doctor, so don't ever take my advice. But they were like, my epidural started wearing off, and just a little bit, and I could feel the pain, and I was like, no, I need more epidural. And I was 10 centimeters or 9 centimeters. I was
Do you have any advice, Trish? Any birthing advice? Or are you gonna sit in silence this entire video?
Start pushing soon.
Did you have a button?
To give me more?
Yeah.
No.
Really?
No.
Oh, they have a button. I'm pushing it.
Oh no. I was like, I need more epidural, and they're like, you're about to start pushing. We need you to feel a little bit.
Oh yeah.
And I said, no.
Yeah.
And luckily, like I'm not confrontational, but luckily I was like, I was on
happy,
drugs,
yeah.
so I was confrontational. And they were like, no, we want you to be able to feel it. And trust your doctor always. Your doctor knows better than you do. And I should have, but I didn't. I was like, I won't push if you don't give me more. If I feel pain, I will not push. Like it will, because I'll be so focused. I don't do pain well. I'll be so focused on how much it hurts. I won't, like, I need more. Please give me more. And they didn't fight me on it, but they advised me to not. But then I'm glad I did it, because then I was so focused on pushing. And like, I mean, maybe that's why I ripped so much. I don't know, because I like couldn't feel anything, so I was just like,
just pushing through.
But yeah, I like right before I was like, you have to give me more.
Yeah, no, that's good. I think you should, because at some point too, they said that to me, and they're like, no, I'm making an excruciating pain. Like, I think I'm gonna die. And I'm like, okay, push the button, because I had a button anyway, so I just like pushed it whenever it turned blue. I just pushed it again.
Yeah.
But I watched there's another family vlog. I mean,
okay, this is one of the points that I want us to focus on now. Listen to this.
I don't think it's bad to mention, but whatever. I watched another family vlogger, and she had the easiest. She had her 4th baby, and she just was like so happy the whole time. She pushed it out. She was like, you know, he just fell out. I didn't even push her or anything.
Yeah,
I was like,
I've seen that.
I saw her right before I gave birth. There was like 2 months before my. You know, I was just like, wow, that looks so easy. She goes, I didn't even push. They said, you know, are you pushing? I was like, I'm not pushing. And the baby just came out. I was like,
I've seen weird vlogs too, like some of these like vloggy mommies who are like,
they're like, not Trisha there, to give credit where credit is due, but Colleen like making fun of being like, and these like vloggy mommies, that's what you are. That's what Trisha is. Like, that's what you've both sold yourself out to become. So you cannot use that phrase to like make fun of, because we are going to be going now and making fun of them, whenever that is directly what you are. Like, look how she makes fun of them.
they're like, okay, push, and they go like,
Yeah. They're so good.
and they like look beautiful.
Like, you are one of
They're
them.
like,
It's so
And
not
so's
scary.
Trish.
like veins are bulging out of my freaking forehead, and I'm like, yeah! I'm like, oh my god, it's so bad. How come these girls like all look so pretty when they're pushing her? I look like a monster.
I have no idea. I was the same way. I really had my head to look
They
good.
said to push like I'm pooping, and like,
I did. Did you? I did.
you pooped?
Yeah.
I wanted to, I didn't. I was shocked.
It was so gross, and I was like peeing all the time. I was so over it. I was like, oh, and then my husband was down there. I'm like, no, go get away. And I thought when you gave birth, like your actual like vagina opened really big. So I remember asking, like, is it a big hole?
I saw that.
Because I just thought that's what it was. I didn't know it was like your like cervix.
Well, it does get like that once the baby comes, because I mean the baby has to come out. So the head, yeah,
It doesn't just push through.
no, like it's, I mean your baby's head goes through, so it goes like that, you know.
Oh, I wanted that so bad. I wanted to see like the whole, like I wanted to see it. I thought that would have been so cool. I'm so
Eric
excited
saw it,
about
my mom saw it, my sister saw
it. Oh,
it.
they were on there?
Mm-hmm.
Was this before?
Wait, yeah, for Flynn, it was before.
Oh, what about oh,
It's
like
like they didn't push anything. Yeah, it was just
right.
immediate C-section. And,
Oh, man,
yeah.
yeah.
So you were pushing for 3 hours.
Jesus, I almost forgot Trisha gave birth. This video has been so centered around Colleen's. My goodness. Yeah, remind us that Trisha gave birth again recently.
And did they? You didn't? I don't remember you saying this or not. So you pushed for 3 hours, and then her heart rate was dropping.
Yeah.
Now, why are you telling the story for us?
They were like, we need to do a C-section to get her out, and she was twisted the wrong way.
Yeah.
Why are you? Per Trish, you've just told the entire fucking story in like 5 seconds so that you can get back to yours. Per Trish.
She was like faced like different in different ways. She wasn't like face ready to come out, which was like shocking because every time we did the ultrasound, like her face was like there, ready in position. So I don't know what happened. It was like the wrong way. Yeah. So they were like, okay, her heart rate's dropping, and so
I feel like we got the spoilers.
She's like, let's just do it. My doctor is like the chillest doctor ever. Like he literally didn't care about anything. He was just like, let's just do a C-section, whatever. So I was like, so we just did because her heart rate was
So
dropping.
did they ask you, or did they tell you? Were they like, this is an emergency, we have to, or were they like, would you mind getting a C-section? Like, how did that process go?
He kind of just told us, but he was very casual about it. I don't think it was an emergency where they were like, we need to do it right now. But he's like, okay, it's probably time.
Yeah.
Because everything was super like relaxed for 3 hours. We were pushing and she didn't like move at all. So I was like, how did you not see she was moving, not moving at all? But
Sorry, I'm not just saying this to be a bitch, but I mean the body language here is like. Wait, this is like such a good part for like the thumbnail. Really, like this body language when Trisha's finally fucking telling her story. Ugh, someone shipped me. Like.
it was fine. I think I said that there were so many nurses coming in and out, so I think it was just, you know.
But you weren't felt like you were forced into it. You're like, yeah, it's time. Like, you agree.
Oh, yeah. And also, like, I would agree with what you said, too. I was just like, well, they probably know better. Like, no matter what you wanted to do. I was like, yeah, if you, like, I wasn't going to be like, let me push for another 3 hours. Because it didn't feel normal either. And I felt like I was going to have a heart attack. I don't know if it's because I was actually, they put an oxygen mask on me. I was like, I mean, maybe I'm just, like, really out of shape and I can't do this. Because every time I push,
There's nothing to do with that.
my heart was going to give out. I thought I was going to have, like, a heart attack. Because you always hear it. Well, you don't always hear, but the bad thing is I was watching TikToks of birds gone wrong. So I have that in my head.
Why would you watch that?
Before you make it, I was like popping up.
Oh my God.
I went wrong, and I was just like, oh my god! Like I literally was like writing a will before I went in. I was just like, just in case.
Trisha.
I'm like, and make sure you take the baby, not me, because I just wanted to make sure those were clear. I was like, so my
God,
birthday.
that made me cry.
I just didn't want to be that person. I like don't. Well, it doesn't matter. But for me, I didn't want to have my daughter like. I wouldn't want to live without my daughter. So I'm like,
Yeah.
not have her come. I don't know. I was thinking like all the worst things. So when I was pushing, I thought I was gonna have like a heart attack because my heart was like, yeah, like you put it's so
It's
hard.
hard work.
It's hard. I was like dying. I literally was. Like they had an oxygen mask on me in between, and I was like, God, I look so unattractive right now. Like I didn't even post the unattractive footage because I was just like, oh, I literally looked
Heaven forbid someone see you when you're giving birth and look like you're giving birth, Trish.
like I was dead. Like I'm like here, and then I had it just looked really bad. But yeah, the pushing was like easy. It just didn't work for me. No, I was like, okay, I can keep doing this, but I just knew it wasn't right. I just wanted her to come out so bad. I wanted
It was
to
so
see.
frustrating.
It was really frustrating.
No,
I'm sad about it.
something I was stupid. I didn't know this, and I was surprised. I literally didn't know it until I was pushing. I didn't know that you only push when you have contractions and you have like breaks in between.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I felt really stupid about that because I even did break pauses and everything, but like.
Did you?
Yeah, and I was like, so they're like, hey, you're ready. I just thought like when you're pushing, it's like, oh, you're literally pushing the whole time. Like, you're just
I thought that too. I guess I didn't realize. They would just kind of tell me. I didn't know it was like when contractions. I just didn't feel contractions at that point, so I didn't know.
So they were like, you have to feel your contractions push. I'm like, well, you can see my contractions on the machine.
That's what I thought, yeah.
So they'd be like, oh, here comes a contraction. Now you push in. So, but in between the contractions, for like the minute or whatever it is in between contractions, you don't push.
That's true. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Me neither. I thought it was straight pushing.
Me too. So I was like, oh yeah, obviously I'm only pushing during contraction. I did not know that. They were like, okay,
Yeah.
so break. pushing and pushing so hard. I was like, I'm getting this baby out. And they're like, okay, take a break. And I was like, I don't need to take a break.
Right.
Pushing through. And they're like, we're waiting for the next contraction. And I was like, oh yeah, I literally didn't know that. So I don't know. I didn't know that either.
This is just like a lot of talking about Colleen's birth.
He didn't tell you had depression. He didn't give you this medicine. He
Let's
didn't
skip to
get you
this part.
pain every day, because it made me feel like I was a weak person who wasn't good at being pregnant. Because like I was like, I can't walk. Like I'm in a wheelchair. I'm fainting every day. I'm vomiting, fainting. Like I couldn't. Like my pregnancy was so horrendous. And I was like, and every time I told him about something, he'd be like, so "You're pregnant. It's normal." And so I was like, "What's wrong with me that other people enjoy this?" And I'm like literally fainting and vomiting and can't walk. I feel like my pelvic bone is shattered in pieces. Like I'm sobbing, screaming every day. I was like severely depressed. I didn't even know prenatal depression was a thing. I thought I'd only heard of postpartum depression.
Yeah, I never knew that either.
So like I didn't know that was even a thing. So I didn't know that I was severely depressed while pregnant with Flynn. I just thought it was normal to like want to die. Like I was like,
yeah,
so
no one talks about it.
No, and so I really didn't like him. So I did not want to work with him again. And so when I got pregnant with the twins, some of my blood work went to his office, and he called me. He's like, "You're pregnant. Are you coming in?" And I just ghosted him. I was like, "I don't want to talk to him ever again." Like whatever. So then when I was going to have the C-section, my new doctor, who's the literal queen of, if you want a good gynecologist, I should.
Here's my thing. These are all very important conversations to have that Colleen is having about after giving birth as well, because that's also something that doesn't get focused on a lot. This video has been made though. Like, all these conversations, while it's important to always have them, has its own video on Colleen's channel with Trisha, which is the mukbang of Colleen talking about this to Trisha. And I just think it's like really, really, really weird to invite Trisha over, do this mukbang with her in the place of the one you filmed last time, whenever you spoke about all these experiences, and not, like, I'm not saying to center the video around Trisha, but like, how's Trisha handling it? How's Trisha feeling? Like, how, you know, there's such thing as in a conversation, like adding your experience to kind of bounce off the other person so that they talk more. And then they're saying so much about yourself that the other person really doesn't know what to say, which is what's happening here. And it's just like, I'm sure Trisha has some intense things to talk about after giving birth to your first child, like the story Colleen's talking about with her first child. But it just seems that Trisha is being overshadowed on a video that is supposed to be about Trisha Paytas, if you get what I mean. These are all important conversations to have, but this video was literally centered around the fact that Trisha's finally getting to talk about her experience because Trisha struggled to get pregnant for so long and all these different things, and it just doesn't come across like that in the end, and it just comes across really, it's just interesting.
We were looking.
Unbelievable.
Really?
She's like literally, I've never had a better doctor in my life. She's unreal. She's the best doctor in the universe. So anyway, I got her. So when it was time to, and she knew about my past doctor, and she was.
She knew of him. Did she know him?
She knew who he was, and she knew my stories about him, and that he like traumatized me.
Yeah.
And you know, through all my doctor's appointments, she was like, he didn't tell you had depression. He didn't give you this medicine. He didn't get you a pelvic floor therapist. He didn't get you nausea medication. He didn't she was like, he didn't give you anything. I was like, nothing.
Nothing?
I had nothing. No,
oh my
nothing. Every time I told him any symptom, he was like, yeah, you're pregnant. You just live with it. Like, so there's no help with anything, and I just thought I was crazy. But she, like, helped me through it. So anyway, when the C-section started, they needed another doctor. I don't know if just in C-sections in general, if you need two.
We had two for ours,
okay, so maybe that's just normal. Yeah. But it was also twins, very common. There were many people in the room. I guess the other OBGYN on call was him. So as they're rolling in, she's like, just so you know, Dr. Sanzo is here today. He's going to be helping me. And she looked at me like, I'm really sorry, but there's no, what are you going to do? And I was like,
oh my God.
So he walks in, this yeah.
Listen, the only reason I'm skipping past this is just because these are conversations that were had in the first couple mukbangs, and I just think that this video is supposed to be about Trisha Paytas' experiences, and we really haven't heard them up until this point.
Talking about itchy palms with Flynn, I was like expecting that. Like I psyched myself out. But it's good to talk about it because so many people don't. So like people who have the same thing as you is like good.
I mean, like I got itchy palms and itchy feet, and I was like, oh, that's weird. But since I watched your videos, I knew it was cholestasis, and that's dangerous. You have to get checked for that.
And that's why yours is good. So it scared me, but it was good because people.
Yeah, so like I'm not trying to scare anybody because I genuinely think everyone, if you even slightly want to have kids, like you should do it because every experience is so different. She loved her freaking pregnancy. I hated.
We know that you hated yours. We've barely heard that she loves hers. Like, oi.
My pregnancies, like. All of it though is worth it. And I've never met someone where I was like, oh my god, my pregnancy was the same as yours. My birth is the same as yours.
Every different.
Doesn't exist. Like everyone's is
you might not know because Trisha hasn't had the chance to fucking talk about hers.
So freaking different. So your experience will be so different than mine and from Trisha's and everyone else's.
Yeah.
So and the same with birth.
Oh yeah. Because everyone tried to put it on me when I was like pregnant. Like everyone just like you know, they'll try and tell you like, oh, if you're overweight, you have gestational diabetes, if you're this, you're that. And it really does no matter. Like, that's what Dr. Singh says. It's not really like about how much sugar you eat, how your body like breaks it down and stuff. So people kept telling me, you probably have pre-eclampsia. Everyone kept, so I got scared. I was getting scared.
Anything.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with anything. Every body is just different. And every experience is different. With Flynn, I was sure I'd have gestational diabetes. I was eating lots of sugar. I wasn't eating well. I wasn't exercising. And Flynn was huge.
How big was he?
He was a month early almost. And he was 7 pounds, 12 ounces or something a month early. And so he had come on time. They were like a pound a week or something at that point. He would have been like over 10 pounds. I was over 10 pounds when I was born, so was Eric.
Really?
So I was like, he's going to be massive.
You do have big babies. I was my baby was big, you know, like born, but he's very big. Yeah.
So all my babies, the whole time I was pregnant, when they measured them inside, they'd be like, whoa.
The 99%.
So I know for sure. And with Flynn, I did not have gestational diabetes. And then my friends were like eating healthy, working out every day, whatever. They have gestational. It has nothing to do with it. Literally has nothing to do with it.
I didn't eat healthy either. Like,
I said I was going to with I could like literally that my only happiness when I was pregnant was eating. Yeah. My only happiness.
My doctor was like, he's just like, yeah, you just eat whatever you like feel like eating. Like he was very chill about it because I was like, I don't know, I should be better, but he was like, chill. And I had like for my pregnancy, I was like a completely healthy pregnancy, and I was not completely healthy during it. So I mean, as far as food, I mean everything else, I didn't drink sodas or anything. But
I was on the verge of gestational diabetes, like right on the line with the twins, so I did have to change my diet pretty heavily and get a dietitian and like and that was very awful for me. I was like very upset. I was like a mess about it because I have issues with like eating food like unless it's like exactly what I crave and I want it. And so it was
the same way. If I had to like cut something, I'd be like, I'm just not eating. Like
but I was like, so like in normal life, which is not healthy, right? But if someone's like,
I just feel like really, it's such an interesting dynamic here, and I feel that Trisha is just kind of allowing the conversation to be all about Colleen anyway. Many factors on that is probably that Trisha is scared of Colleen, or that it's in Colleen's house and Trisha's in an unfamiliar setting or something like that. But like, it's also noted that Trisha is allowing the conversation to like, she's just sitting in silence and eating. Well, I mean, by the way, the food's cleared from over here, but Trisha's been working on that burger for like 40 minutes. It just kind of comes across as, you know, there's like really weird dynamics that you pick up on and like really, you know, like Friends, where it's like almost like the one that's left out. It's normally whenever there's like 3 friends and 2 of them are always closer. I feel like there's like a third person in this room and it's Colleen and them are closer and Trisha's like that third one who's kind of just there. Is anyone else picking up on that? I mean, they are. The comments are and Twitter is and stuff like that. But I mean, anyone watching this, let me know if you are.
I had like depression and anxiety. Like,
no, it's hard. It's hard.
So yeah, but did you have any postpartum depression or anxiety or anything, or did you feel really good after this?
Surprisingly good.
This is like where the video should be. The video should be this. The video started off with Colleen being like, we've made my one on these, now let's ask Trisha questions. We are 50 minutes into an hour-long video, and we are now asking Trisha genuine questions. Like, important questions. Postpartum, depression in pregnancy needs to be talked about. These things need to be talked about. And the fact it's taken 50 minutes into this video to ask Trisha about that is insane. It's insane. This is someone who gave birth. When did the Queen die? Alexa, when did Queen Elizabeth die?
Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II died at 3:10 p.m. on the 8th of September 2022, at Balmoral at the age of 96. Her cause of death has been listed as old age. A state funeral took place on the 19th of September 2022 at Westminster Abbey.
You done? Alexa, when was Malibu Barbie born?
The 31st of March 1980. By the way, you have 2 new notifications. Do you want to hear them?
Sure.
2 new notifications. 2 from Amazon Shopping. 3 shipments are due to arrive today. Based on your order history, it may be time to reorder pot noodle Bombay bad boy flavor, king pot size, 12x, 114 grams. It's £13.20, including VAT. Would you like to add it to your basket?
No, thank you.
Okay, anytime you'd like to reorder, just ask me.
How embarrassing. My Amazon just exposed that I live off of pot noodles. Jesus, Malibu Barbie's old, isn't she? What was that, like 19 something? So, Malibu Barbie was born somewhere around the 8th of September. So, pretty recent birth. We should be asking her about it, so it's just throwing me off.
The only reason I talk about it like that is because like I did have like a really bad mental illness. I do have a really bad mental illness. I have like borderline, so I was like really scared that I was gonna fall into depression. So the only reason I say that is because like I feel like people do have mental illness and get pregnant, they're like worried about it and like, you know, obviously like monitor it and stuff like that. But I really didn't. I had like a couple days where I like had a like complete breakdown because sometimes I'm like, oh, I wasn't as good as a parent as like Moses. I wasn't like as natural with it. You know, I was just like, you know, I don't know, I got a little anxious, but I never had like true postpartum depression. At least not yet. They say it can happen up to a year after you give birth and stuff. So I always like watch it and stuff like that. I like, you know, I have like a really good husband, like, you know, you do too, but I feel like having a support system.
Yeah. Obviously, we exhausted the battery, like it died because we were talking.
Of course the camera battery dies whenever Trisha's finally talking.
For 17 hours, I mean, so long. So sorry.
We have been talking for 17 hours? We?
Anyone's even still watching, but I don't care.
If you made it to this part, type in the comments. I want a big man.
Me, in the middle of the night, rewatching it.
Me too. Oh, I rewatch some of our stuff because I love it.
I do too.
I feel like you're like the only person.
Have we now like missed out on Trisha talking about postpartum? And that was actually going to be a very interesting conversation, Trisha talking about mental illnesses that she's been diagnosed with and how that would affect pregnancy, but nope. Alright.
I've ever like collabed with, besides Joey. I feel like you guys are like, I was just saying how you and Joey are like the two original people that are still around.
So
I love him too. I
don't know where everyone go. No, it doesn't anymore.
No, I don't know where the collabs have stopped, and like YouTubers I think are just like, it's like a thing of the past, but I think it's gonna come back. I think it'll come back.
Too, but I also
So we're fully moving on from Trisha's pregnancy now. At least we got a couple minutes out of it.
like I'm sometimes I just feel like I'm stupid and old because I'm like, wait, all the people that like when it was like the big, you know, YouTubers back in the day, like the 2015, 2016 days, like all those people are like gone except, you know, there's like Joey and you and me, but like everyone else kind of like doesn't really do it as much anymore.
I know.
So in my head I'm like, oh, so no YouTubers exist.
Right.
Like I still watch them. Like who's popular? No, there's not.
I swear there's not. I pride myself in like keeping up with what's hip, what's cool, like the cool TikTokers, the cool all the stuff like that.
You're good at TikTok. I need to get back.
I love TikTok. I love TikTok. I try and keep up with what's new, you know, be real, all stuff like that. So I really try.
I'm really glad we're hearing about Trisha's pregnancy.
But like YouTube, there's really just
is it not like
it's
YouTubers? Like, but like, because back in the day it was like there's like this. Here are the YouTubers. There's
This dog is so cute.
and these are the big YouTubers. I think like that was it. And I'm like, does that not exist anymore? Is there not like this is like the famous YouTuber?
I don't think there is.
Because I was like, am I just old and dumb and I don't know who they are? Because like my mind, I'm like, well, Tyler Oakley's done. They're all gone. Grace Helbig doesn't do it.
What's interesting about that is Tyler Oakley is still creating content. Just because they didn't sell themselves out to the mommy vlogging life doesn't mean that they're not YouTubers anymore, folks.
They're all gone.
They're kind of like independently wealthy where they don't have to like make videos anymore.
I'm actually working. Like,
I post every day on 3 channels.
You have to keep working. Better keep those pregnancies coming, Colleen.
I'm like, they're not slow.
me too, but I mean, I still love it. So I'm not just. It's
Yeah,
not
me
that.
too, but people are always like, why would you do this? Like, you know, other sites that I'm on and stuff like that. I'm like, they're like, if you're so rich, why are you doing this kind of work? I'm like, because I have to make money. Like, I have to post to make money. Like, that's how I make my money. It's like so crazy, but no, I do love it too. And like Vlogmas, I'm like, okay, this is fun, but like no one's really doing it. But there are some OGs like Alicia Marie, Beauty by Remy. There's like some beauty gurus that are still doing it. I think that's everything, but I think it is kind of like, I think podcasts are the thing now. Like, everyone's just doing podcasts, which is like, it's cool. But podcasts are really just this. Like, we just did like a podcast, but it's like a mukbang. So
I know. Just a podcast with shitty sound.
Right. Right. We had microphones. It'd be a podcast.
Microphones. It would have been an ASMR podcast.
Oh yeah, we got it. Oh my god. Yeah.
You and I should do a podcast.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's so funny. My husband was just like, you and Colleen, I'm like, she's so busy. She's so like, what? Because I don't do anything, you know. But I was like, you do so many things. You have a podcast. You have your channel.
We had someone set up and you guys just show up for an hour.
Yeah. I feel like that'd be everything.
But then what if you like leave me like frenemies and we never talk again?
No.
I'd be so sad. So I'm not trying to bring that up.
No, I don't hear it all. No, but it's like. No, that
I didn't do that. I didn't do that. I love it.
We have like known each other for so long, and I feel like people like.
I'm literally begging that Colleen and Trisha do a podcast together because very soon you will figure out each of their personalities. Like, the real truth of their personalities. I mean, in an hour video, we're already seeing a clear dynamic here. I would wish for nothing more than for these two folk to come out with a podcast together because I think it would be the thing that I would love to see it. I would love to see it. I mean, this hour-long I think this gives a little teaser for what it would be.
You never keep friends. I'm like, that is not true. I have Colleen and Joey. I did a fast food mukbang with him last year. Like, I know what there's like the people.
Trisha is making a point that like everyone says she loses friends, but she still has Colleen. I don't know if that logic really applies whenever Colleen and Corey were like terrified to hang out with her because their fans hate, which is ironic seeing the fans. The fans hate Trisha so much and hate Colleen associating, so Colleen pulls back on seeing Trisha and tells her she's busy and all these different things. So, Trisha, I don't really know if that's keeping a friend or someone who's scared of you. She's terrified of you cancelling her, which is one of the...
I don't even know how to say this, but like, you know, people.
So this isn't the drag you think it is, that you have Colleen Ballinger and Joey Graceffa on your side, because they both just don't want you to turn on them.
Some people just click with, right? There's nothing, like you and Joey, there's literally nothing problematic about you guys in real life or anything. That's why I like gravitated to you guys, and I was like so surprised you guys stayed friends.
There is, but at least
No, you're not. You're not problematic at all. Even in
I
real life.
definitely have problematic moments, but like I feel like I can.
I love this conversation.
I try to like be like, oh, what did I do that's problematic? How can I fix it? And
Yeah.
I try, and I feel like you do too.
Yeah, I feel like we're similar.
Oh, Colleen does and Trisha does apparently.
That way, because like I'm like you said, non-confrontational. I really don't like to be non-confrontational. I feel like it's like not my thing. I get scared, that's why I don't like talking to
I
anyone.
love
But I
this.
also feel like I've changed a lot since like being married, because like when I would see like someone like for you, for instance, like when you got married and pregnant, I was like so like envious. You know, it's like the worst way to feel or something like that about someone. But I was like so envious. I was so sad. Like I just couldn't be around. Like, you know, I would just get so angry at everyone. But then once I found like something that like made my life worth living, I was like, oh, I'm not angry at anyone. You know, like and even like drama, not even you, because we've never had drama, but even past traumas I've had with people, I'm like just not upset about it.
She says all this whenever she's still done a bunch of shit this year that she could be quote-unquote cancelled for, which is what all the fans at the start of the video were talking about. So it's like, I think these people just think that we are not aware of what they do online.
Works, it like doesn't matter, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm finally happy. I always tell people like, I understand haters because like I was for so long. Like I would hate like on people for like no reason because I was so miserable, you know what I mean? And so when I would see like other people just like living their happy life, even Joey with Daniel, I was so envious of their relationship. They had such a nice house, and I never owned a home before, and I was like, wow, what am I doing wrong with my life? That I like.
So your only friends in the space, you're saying that you hated them.
A man.
Good job, Trish.
So I feel like once I found like my happiness, I became like a little bit of a different person because I was like, okay, now I need to like, you know, not be a hater because I have things that going for me in life, you know.
Yeah.
Mom shaming is the worst. Of all the hate that I got in my life, like literally, that's what we were talking about earlier. It's the worst. Like literally, you could just do. It'll be like nothing. Oh, the way she doesn't smile at Mal, or Mal only looks at Moses, and also, oh my god, the biggest.
So they're talking about that the thing that annoys them most is backlash for vlogging, but they're focusing on people like saying that they're doing like a parenting thing wrong and not focusing on people calling out the exploitation of it. Especially Trisha and Colleen, both of these women have on YouTube, literally on YouTube, the platform that they're exploiting their children on now, have made videos, statements talking about the kind of P words that watch these videos and that, you know, it's tailored towards them or whatever. So I have no remorse calling them out. Like, whenever they're so aware of why these types of videos are doing well on the platform.
He was when they're like, Moses is raising that child. I'm like, yeah, because like he's her father. Like he should raise her.
Of course he should be raising her. I'll watch a 10-minute vlog. And
Yeah.
like, she held Maisie the whole time and never even got message. She's neglecting him. And I'm like, you said 10 minutes of my day. You didn't see the other half a day where I was holding him.
I know.
Like, oh, because she was smiling and clapping and playing with Wesley, but she didn't with Maisie.
Yeah.
Like, Maisie, it depends on like, oh, she's neglecting Flynn because she only.
Wouldn't this all be fixed if you just didn't revolve your entire day around filming your children? You scary woman, both of you. He's like,
filmed with the twins today. I'm like, you guys are seeing 10 minutes of my day, and I'm not going to like measure out the exact minutes that it's equal between the three in the vlog. Like,
no, those are people literally just like not wanting to show your happy life, because it's people who like are, and my mom can say girls are just jealous of you when you're Tinder, but like honestly it's kind of true. Like there's some like happiness that they're not getting when watching it, so they're like mad that you're like having this happy life. They want you to stop posting. We talked about this at your
stop posting your children. Yeah, I feel like everyone would agree with that.
birthday party, how you're like they want you to stop posting, but it's like you're happy sharing your life, right? Because I'm the same way. I'm like, maybe I just shouldn't post it. This is like not worth it.
it's really good lord. He's like, never stop.
I just love sharing her life and all stuff like that. And people are
I love sharing her life, Trisha said, speaking about someone who can't consent to her life being shared. These women are awful.
saying, oh, like if I post 2 pictures, oh my god, every picture is with
Yeah, and then I'm like, yeah, because I want to share my baby. I'm like, I love her so much. I love him so much. I like want everyone to see how perfect my
These statements are showing these women's intentions here.
best thing I've ever done in my whole life.
I know, same. I was like, finally I have something that I'm like proud of, and like I'm not proud of it.
Best thing you've done in your life, Colleen, or best thing you've done for your career?
I think this is something good. But I was super judgy. I used to be judgy about people who had nannies. I was like, oh my god, I'm never gonna get it. But now I'm like, I totally get it. I totally get it because it's like so hard.
Because now you're the one who can exploit it. Now you're the one who can make money on children. So that's why.
And like Moses, who's like super down. I would
Love
never
this
have like 2 nannies for me. You know, it's really, you know, I stay at home. I'm still like, you know, it's hard.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I hate when people are like, oh, Moses raised the baby and stuff like that. I was just like, well, one, it's like if he was a stay-at-home dad full time, it's like nothing wrong with that. No one's like,
This dog is so beautiful.
what a mom, you know? And two, it's like, we're with her 24/7 and she's not a prop. People are like, she's a prop. I'm like, no, like you have to change your poopy diapers, you have to, and then like, she doesn't change her diapers. I'm like, what do you want me to like film it? Like, well, not film it. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Right.
Trisha goes, people say that Malibu Barbie is our prop, but she's not a prop because we have to change her diapers. Good way of getting out of that one, Trish.
you are weird.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. Mom shaming is like the worst thing in the whole world.
So you have a baby, I feel like you shouldn't
These aren't being like mom shamed though. You're being shamed as people for exploiting your children. There's a difference.
Even when you have a baby, I judge no one anymore. I was just like, damn, it's so hard.
Yeah,
so,
it's really hard.
I judge nobody, and I didn't realize how hard it was. And that's the other thing. It's like so hard. It's like literally the hardest thing ever.
It's so hard. It's great, but it's, and also like not like when I was just Flynn, like, and it was just me and Eric and Flynn, like, it was the hardest thing I'd ever done in my life. Yeah. Because now sometimes people go like, oh, well, you have twins and a baby. Like, I only have one kid. And I'm like, no, when I had one, it was the hardest thing I'd ever done in my life. Any amount of children is the hardest thing in the world.
Right.
It's also hard.
Because I feel like birth is like so life-changing. Like,
Trisha's getting a little bit more confident now, isn't she? We have 5 minutes left to go. She's getting the work count in now. I think Colleen's tired herself out, so Trisha's able to get in there.
Yeah, changed just so completely, and I guess I was like ready for it, but then like wasn't. I was like, whoa, this is like your whole life, you know? It really,
I can't believe how much food was wasted here. Trisha took 2 fucking bites of that burger.
Yes, but yeah, it's interesting. But then you have like your brother and sister-in-law who have like literally 6 kids.
It's like 10,000.
It's crazy.
There's so many kids.
I love it though. They're so excited about each baby. I was like, that's everything.
It's crazy. Yeah, they have 6.
They're so excited about each baby. Yeah, Trisha, you're supposed to be excited about your children. It's really how that works.
I want 6 kids, but I feel like I'm getting a little old. Although my doctor did say, like, you know, people in their 40s have babies. Something maybe they can have babies in their 40s. I don't know.
So are you guys trying?
Yeah, we've been trying like right away. Like literally, like we tried like a month after giving birth. I'm like, okay, let's do it. They say you're really fertile.
I hate when people say that they're trying for a baby because it's literally just like saying to strangers, I'm fucking.
But it hasn't happened yet.
It'll happen.
Oh my god, I was like really excited. I feel like, we talked about this too. I feel like I want to like announce it like right away because I can't wait.
You should, and that's another thing I don't like about like pregnancy and stuff is people go like, you shouldn't announce it, and it just depends on the person. Like if it would be too hard for you to explain to people if something happened, then like you shouldn't announce it only, but that's your decision. If you're like, oh, it'd be too hard, but for me, I was like, I want to share this news because if I lose weight, which I have lost, I have had a miscarriage, like I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to talk about it online because I wanted advice from people who've been through it, and I wanted to share that experience so that more people knew what it was like because it was horrible. And so like so I was like, oh. Well, now if I ever get pregnant again, I want to share it right away because I know I'm going to share something that happens because I need to for me, like
for sure.
And for me, like when I had my miscarriage, I needed my mom, I needed my family, I needed my friends because I needed that support because it was a loss, it was devastating. Yeah. And so like if I hadn't told them, then I would have had to then be like, hey, I was pregnant and now it's gone. Yeah. But like instead, I'd already told them, they already knew, and we could kind of grieve together. So like to me, obviously that's not what we were hoping for. That's not going to happen ever. Right. But like. To me, I think it's so stupid to say women should not, or people should never say if they're pregnant until it's past the first trimester. Yeah. No, tell when you want. It's your baby, it's your body, and it's your life, and you have to decide what is best for you and how you're going to. I needed to talk about it right away. Yeah. And I'm so glad that I did.
And I feel like every pregnancy, like, is a pregnancy to be celebrated. You know what I mean? Like, anytime being pregnant, like, if you're happy about it, you know what I mean? To celebrate it. You know, no matter how long it is. Right. And so I just think it's like such a, for me, like, such a, like, oh my gosh. And when you find out you're pregnant, it's like the most exciting thing ever. To keep it in was like so hard and so difficult. Yeah, impossible. So I feel like if it happened again, I would have.
Yes, I know. It's
maybe I'll get more baby dust from all the twins. Maybe I'll get twins.
All right, there we go. So it was good hearing about Colleen's birth. And it was nice seeing Trisha eat her burger. That's what I've taken from this video. Well, I'm glad Colleen got to talk. And I'm glad, you know, Trisha got to eat, I guess. Good for you, ladies. Muckers. Okay, closing thoughts on this. It shows a very strong divide in the dynamic of their relationship, if there even is one. It's just, at parts was just like almost too much. And also it just, actually I'm not going to say anymore because I feel like I've said enough in the video and I don't want to take away from like my points in the moment. So I want to hear what you have to think about it. We'll talk about it down below. I appreciate you watching, and happy end of year, happy New Year's. If you've watched this far, I hope you have a safe and enjoyable start to the new year. New year, new opportunities, and new opportunities for Colleen to talk about herself. Woohoo! Alright, I love you, muckers, and I will see you in my next one, and bye. Mwah.